Welcome to this course on Peanut Lab. In this particular module, we are going to be installing iShare2. So let's log in. So we're going to log into our emulation environment. So there's one very important step that we need to take. We'll shut down Peanut Lab, and then after shutting it down, we're going to edit Peanut Lab. Okay, we can also do this from our VMware as well. Anyone works. So what we actually need to do is to ensure that Intel VTX has been enabled. So we'll click on Edit Settings. We'll scroll down to where you have CPU. We'll check this box that says Expose Virtualization. So we'll check all of them. So it's very important that this is checked so that your iShare2 can work fine. So having enabled it, then we're going to power up the Peanut Lab. Okay, so let's see how this is going. We can open a browser console, or we can even do a continuous ping. Anyone works, so that we can know when when it has powered up. Okay, so you can see that it's giving us this warning: Intel VTX not found. Okay, so let's just put it to read. So we're going to bring up our PuTTY, or we can do this from VMware as well. So we're going to log in. Okay, so let's log into our Peanut Lab. Okay, so we're going to put our command root. The default username is root, and the default password is peanut. So we're going to type root as the default username, and then we're going to type peanut as our password. Okay, so now that we've logged in, we can see that Peanut Lab worked. It's asking us to put our preferred password. So I'm going to put my preferred password now. Usually, when you're typing in the password, it doesn't show anything. So you need to be careful when you're typing your password. So I'll type in my preferred password again. I can give this any name. You can call this Peanut, you can call this Peanut Device, you can leave it as Peanut Lab, you can call this My Lab or something. So any name works. But I'll just leave this as Peanut Lab. You can select any domain name. You can use test.local, and anything works actually. Now for this, rather than selecting DHCP, we'll click on our down button to come down to static. Then we'll click on the space bar. It's very important that you click on the space bar to select static. Then we're going to give it an IP address. So I'm going to select my preferred IP address, 192.168.0.251. I'll click on OK. For my subnet marks, I'm going to be using a /24, which is 255.255.255.0. My default gateway, I'll input that. My DNS server, I'm going to be using Google's DNS. Okay, I'll use just one DNS server. I'll leave this blank. Then I'll click on direct connection and I'll click on OK. So having done this, I can then, you know, log in to the device, and then I can run the iShare2 installation command. So this will take a while to come up. Okay, so it just came up now, and we can actually access it from our web browser. So we can type in 192.168.0.251 to access this. Okay, for the very first time, we'll select offline mode. So there are two methods. You can go for the online mode, or you can go for the offline. I prefer the offline, so I'll select that. The default username is admin. The default password is peanuts, and then I'll input the right captcha. Now, having done this, I can create my lab. So let's assume that I want to create, let me call this networking as an example. Let's assume I want to create a network, say maybe network security lab. I can put my name. Okay, I can put my name here. So I'll put my name, and then I'll click on add. So I've gotten into the lab environment now. The next thing to do will be to bring up some objects, but by default I cannot see anything here, which is where Peanut Lab comes in. I need to upload my routers, my switches, firewalls, and the rest of them. The traditional method would have been to go on the internet, download the images, use PuTTY to create directories, use WinSCP to upload those images. But we can use Pinet, but we can actually use iShare2. So I'll come to my command prompt. Okay, I'm going to input that IP address 251. I'll log in as the root user, and then I'm going to paste a command to install iShare2. Okay, so it's beginning to install our iShare2. It's saying welcome to iShare2. We'll just give it some time. So usually this should take about 2 or 3 minutes depending on your network speed, and also depending on your system specifications. That is where you're doing your lab. If you're using a server, if you're using a laptop, the number of processor cores, the processor speed, the RAM, and other features. Okay, so we'll wait for this to get installed. So it's updating the package list. We'll give it some time. So the installation is still ongoing. So you can see what's been installed. It is asking us if we want to use this for faster downloads. We'll click on yes, we want to use that for faster downloads. Next, it will ask us if we want to make use of SSL certificates during our downloads. So next, it is asking us if we want to check for SSL certificates. We'll click on no, and then we're going to use the main channel, which is the alpha, or rather we could use the main channel, which is the third one. So we'll just select number 3, and then we'll go for the defaults, which is actually to rotate mirrors. So having done this, our Pinet lab is the installation of the iShare2 is successful. In our next module, we're going to run some tests to upload images. So with this, we've come to the end of this particular module. I'll meet you in the next one. Thank you.